So welcome everybody. Thanks for watching and tuning in to the first ever Virginia Air National Guard virtual career event. This is something new, obviously, that we're having to adapt to the times, just like everyone else. Um, but it's a really exciting day for us. So what we're gonna do today and who we have here today are airmen from the Virginia Air National Guard. Um, they are going to tell you a little bit about their jobs, what they do, what it's like to be in the Virginia Air National Guard, and then you have the opportunity as the viewer to ask questions in the Facebook comments. We also have Sergeant Gary here, who's a Virginia Air National Guard recruiter who can answer questions related to how to get into one of these positions. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Sergeant Gary.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tech Sergeant Gary with the Virginia Air National Guard. A lot of you guys are probably wondering, like, what exactly is the, Virginia Air National Guard? So pretty much each state has their own militia, and the governor of each state is responsible for them. So there's any sort of state of emergencies or anything like that for that magnitude, we can actually get activated to actually go help and respond to anything that's actually going on in the state. The great thing about being in the Virginia Air National Guard is we're actually 1 weekend out of the month, 2 weeks in the summertime. So it gives a lot of people the opportunity to be able to, work full time somewhere, go to school somewhere, but you can still have the opportunity to still be able to serve. Right now, we have different individuals that are in different career fields. So I would definitely like for them to, share their story on, exactly what do they do and why did they decide to join the Virginia Air National Guard. So first person I would like to turn it over to is Sergeant Hernandez.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Staff Sergeant Hernandez. I joined the Virginia Air National Guard in October 2015. I joined because I had gotten a degree already, but I wanted a change of pace. I wanted to change career fields, and I had met a recruiter for an agency and wanted to learn more about becoming an imagery analyst. So the job itself, were in the simplest terms, what they call kind of like the eye in the sky. So we analyze images and videos to identify key features and help decision makers with forming strategies. So we create assessments and create what we call products. So it's a pretty cool job. From the state side, we also support hurricane relief efforts. So in 2017, we supported Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Harvey, and Hurricane Maria. In 2018, Hurricane Florence, so identifying flooding, downed trees, blocked roads, things of that nature. So.
Well, thank you, Sergeant Hernandez, for definitely sharing your story, and definitely it's a great effort as far as like you guys actually helping support those hurricane efforts. So thank you for sharing your story. So the next person that we would like to have discuss is Sergeant Miller, and he's going to discuss why he joined the Virginia Air National Guard and his job.
Thanks, Sergeant. Yeah, my name is Staff Sergeant Aaron Miller. Here with the 192nd Tactical Air Force, or Tactical Aircraft Maintenance. In short, we call it crew chief. We're the ones that, and mostly what you see is we get the pilots in the seats of the aircraft. We launch and recover the aircraft. We inspect the aircraft. We just make sure everything's good on it. We also do maintenance and servicing of the aircraft. As far as the Air Guard goes, the majority that we do are those listed items. It gets much more complicated than that, particularly if you're here on any kind of orders or long-term, but for a regular drill, that's what you're mostly going to be doing. I decided to join the Air Guard after I started my own business. Originally, I was in the Army active, in maintenance again on light wheel vehicle mechanics, which was Humvees, 5 tons. I enjoyed that. After I got out, I did several different things as you do when you first get out of stuff. But then I started my own business. Once I started my own business, I started thinking about maybe joining back up, given some of my free time and some of the weekends to get back into the military, to keep that retirement going, as well as I just kind of missed it. I enjoyed it. I liked turning wrenches. The business I created doesn't turn wrenches anymore, and I do enjoy doing that kind of stuff. So that's for the most part why I got in there. I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to any questions that you folks in the chat may have. I'll do my best to answer them.
Sergeant Miller, I have one question to ask you. As far as with your career field, did you get the opportunity to actually go deploy to different places or actually help out with different missions around the state?
Yes, I know that the unit did respond at a similar time for a hurricane to help out. I did not do on that, but I have been on 3 deployments that were volunteer for them. It was a great experience and allowed me to experience what it's like in the real world, as well as get some maintenance job tasks that don't normally just pop up when you're here in the rear on the flight line. When you're over there and the real missions going on, obviously the jets are under much more strain. Different things than normally need to be fixed end up needing to be fixed and stuff. And it's just good to learn your job to help out part-time. When I came back, even from my very first deployment, I felt so much more confident out on the line and things like that. So it was very helpful. So I wanted to volunteer for more after that.
Thank you, Sergeant Miller, for definitely sharing your story. We'll definitely, if they have any questions, we'll definitely be coming back to you. So next person up is Tech Sergeant Cobbs. He's with Aircraft Armament Systems, so he's going to discuss his job and why did he decide to join the Virginia Air National Guard.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Tech Sergeant Cobbs. I'm with Aircraft Armament Systems. I've been working with the Guard for 9 years now. So the funny story about me actually joining the Guard is I never actually intended on joining the military. My brother actually brought me to a recruiting office, and because he didn't want to go by himself, and he wanted to see what everything was about. And the funny thing is, I actually joined and he didn't. So there's that. But I liked what the Guard offered. It helped me to get through school. I was currently pursuing music education. I was actually able to fly airplanes a little bit myself. And now the Guard is actually helping pay for me to get my health certification, health sciences certification. So there's many different benefits that come with joining the Guard. Basically with aircraft armament systems, what we call it is weapons. And basically we put the force in Air Force. Like without us, we just have planes flying up in the air. But because we put those munitions on the aircraft, we were able to carry out certain missions and take out the bad guys, basically. And that's the most satisfying thing about our job, is that when we do have certain taskings and everything, and that you helped load a certain aircraft, although you're not the one out there carrying out the mission personally in the seat, when you hear that certain missions got complied with, we take that as a personal gain upon ourselves, knowing that we gave everything that we could to help make the mission be a success. So it's definitely a very rewarding career to be a weapons mechanic. There's many different avenues that you can go from there. The good thing about the Guard also is that you can start in one career, you can move to many different opportunities as you progress, and there's many different opportunities for progression and for you to get along. So you won't be stuck. To keep things interesting, keep things in your face, to keep you grabbing it, to help make things better within the unit and make an impact. And that's what I really love about the Guard.
Sergeant Gary, I just want to step in really quick to remind everyone that's watching right now on Facebook Live that you can put your question in the comments below this video and we will answer them live. So we're also going to be answering some questions coming up here soon. So
Okay. Thank you, Tech Sergeant Cobbs. Thank you for sharing your story. So the next one we have is Sergeant Escobar. He's with Low Observable Aircraft Maintenance. Please feel free, sir, to share your story.
Hey, how are you? I'm Sergeant Escobar here with the Low Observable Aircraft Shop or Aircraft Maintenance. So the reason I joined, there was a couple reasons I joined. One, I was looking for benefits that could help me with my career on the outside, with in particular with my college degrees. I already had a bachelor, and I was looking to see how I couldn't fulfill it in getting my master's. The Guard was able to help me get that master's. I recently graduated about 1.5 years ago, and that was paid for by the Guard. So I was actually working at a desk job, and I still work at that desk job, but I joined because I kind of wanted to do something with my hands. I had always painted cars before. I'd always worked in, with my hands, doing stuff, building stuff, making cabinets or painting cars or something. And so I kind of wanted that back. Another reason was also because I really always kind of wanted to join the military. So those types of things, it really seemed very natural to join the Guard. It seemed like a very natural decision to join the Guard. So, and I thought it would definitely open doors later on in different areas that may never know, and I think it has much to my surprise, it has definitely opened a lot of doors for me just being in the National Guard. So with that, at work in LO or Low Observable Maintenance, and we add the coatings to the structure or to the airplane, and what makes it stealth and able to not be seen, so it could complete its mission and help the pilot make sure they come back safe.
So I have a question to ask. So far as with, I'm just want to make sure that we understand. As far as with your job, you the one that makes sure that they put the coating on, so when pilots actually fly out, that no one can actually see them at night.
That's correct. Yes. So, yep.
Okay. All right. How many deployments have you been on as far as helping out with that?
Yeah, so I recently just got back from one deployment earlier this year, and about 2 years ago, I was on a state deployment to help with the governor's. I think it was a weather hurricane that we had, and so I was deployed there as well. And so yeah, so that was all the ones that I've done so far.
All right. Well, definitely. Thank you, sir, for sharing your story. If you guys have any questions later on, definitely put in the comments as far as asking, each one of these guys about their career field. Okay. Next person we have up is Tech Sergeant Arnold. She's an engineering assistant, so she's going to share her story.
Hi, I'm Tech Sergeant Arnold. I'm an engineering assistant, and I joined straight out of high school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I had some relatives that were in a comm flight that were EAs, and they told me how great it was. And overall, I really like it. It's really fast paced. We do materials testing. We go out, we do surveys. We work with GPS. We do a lot of CAD drawings. If you're really into, making blueprints and you just want to get into the engineering field without going to college, it's a really good experience because you're learning a skill and I was able to get a really good job from joining the military first. But yeah, I mean, I guess there wasn't really a reason for me to join the military. I just kind of wanted to travel and see new things. So, yep.
So, Sergeant Arnold, I have a question. As far as you being a female in the military and working where you work, do you feel that, like, you know, a lot of people think that it's a man's job, you know, or, you know, females, you know, they're not doing that. How do you feel about that?
That's a really good question. So, yeah, I mean, you have to prove yourself. I mean, I'm around a lot of guys, and with my career field, it's really overpopulated with men. So I really have to prove myself. I really have to learn my job and know what I'm doing. And it can be kind of intimidating, but I mean, my advice for you is to, you know, if you really want to join the military, do it and just do the best that you can. And, you know, just don't worry about what anybody else thinks, you know. It's my best opinion, advice.
That was a good question, Sergeant Gary. I was going to come in with another question. Sergeant Arnold, you said that your family was just in the military and that's why you joined.
Yeah.
Why the Guard, though? Why not just go full active duty?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, so I met my husband in high school, and he wanted to join the Marine Corps. So we live in Georgia, right? So I wanted to stay close to home. I didn't want to leave and him branch out somewhere else. So I wanted to join the Guard so I could stay close to him. So he ended up joining the Army. So we pretty much live together. And I wanted to go to college, so I didn't really want to leave my family.
So basically having the option to choose where you're stationed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got it.
Well, thank you, ma'am, for sharing your story, Sergeant Arnold. We definitely appreciate it. If you guys have any questions and stuff for Tech Sergeant Arnold, please put your comments in the chat. Next person we have up is Sergeant Brenbrough. He's from Structures. Sir, please feel free to share your story and why did you join the Virginia Air National Guard?
So for me, I was in the Navy previously and with the Seabees. And when I got done with that, I switched to the reserves and actually switched to the Air Force Reserves. But I was trying to get with the Red Horse unit here in Virginia because it was closer to home and my civilian job, and I was going to school. And with the Red Horse unit, particularly, I wanted them because it's an expeditionary unit. And I'll say, like, the Guard is a hidden gem because you'll have benefits from the state, but then also you'll have the federal benefits if you get activated, you know, for a federal deployment, but then you also have protections back home with the state. But for me, the main reason also with the Guard was that, as they always say with the VANG, it's a citizen airman. So you're here locally. So they'll be doing things to support the local community. So in Virginia Beach, we get a lot of hurricanes or potential disasters. Some other individuals in the group mentioned we were activated for state orders for, you know, hurricane support. And obviously you'll have the local first responders, but as us for military members, we have those benefits with the federal government. But I felt better about myself supporting the local area in a military capacity because it's in, you know, a different career field. So for me, I'm a structural specialist. We deal with anything that you see a typical person on a construction field building houses, interior build out, all the buildings. We help build the bare bases for anybody else that's going to deploy to a location. For the other individuals that have to, say, arm the planes, or they said that they were the ones that help add the bombs to the planes. If not, they would be flying, but also without us, you would have nowhere to land. So we need to make sure we build the base for you so y'all sleep, you eat, you have fun at other MWR events, and just also a good place to relax. I work side by side with someone like Tech Sergeant Arnold because she's the engineering aide. She'll plan out, you know, the geography where we're at, make sure the ground is level, and then I come in and we'll start building the actual vertical structure or vertical construction, whether it's steel, you know, wood, or anything interior. You could be a basic painter, you could be a basic with drywall. I mean, there's many different things. Anything that's around the construction field, this is the career you would want to be. We have another type of other unit with CE, which is more of a maintenance, but I highly recommend that the Red Horse is better because you also deal with weapon systems. You know, for me, I qualify on heavy weapons and small arms as well, because if we go somewhere on a bare base, if we don't have security forces, we also have to provide our own security while we're building our structures. And then also in the structure career field, I get to learn how to drive all the equipment, anything you see on basically any construction site, whether you're going down interstate, residential, commercial. There's just many different trades you can learn and you can use at your own personal house or create your own business, become your own contractor, project manager, whatever you might be.
Okay, well, so I have another question. Far as your deployments, can you describe what is a typical deployment day for you?
So for me, one of the deployments I know I had, we went to El Salvador and we were actually building schools for the local community. So it'll be early mornings or late days, depending on the area of responsibility you're in. If it's like, you know, you're in the Middle East, hot weather, things like that nature, it could be late, but it's typically like a typical construction site. You'll go in, you'll get your safety briefs, you'll get the plan of action for the day. You'll either have people set up for, they'll be tasked with building walls for the particular vertical structure. And so sometimes you might be tasked with just literally cutting 2x4s to say a particular length all day, and that'll be your job. But we have these stations set up so that if this individual, or if I am, you know, tasked with cutting all these 2x4s at this particular length or whatever it might be, welding or creating cages for concrete, then the next person is the one that's installing it here and there. So it just depends on the type of job we're on. For the one that's in El Salvador, you go in, we had the safety brief, we use mortar, and then from mixing the mortar, we lay the block, the cinder blocks to help build the structure. And then we just go until we reach a deadline for that day. Each day we'll have some type of deadline or goal to accomplish. If we still have more time in the day, we'll go and try and accomplish more into the next day, so we can stay ahead of schedule. Because as you know, with any kind of building a structure, if we're building a bare base, we won't have a dining facility or we won't have any solid structure until we build it. So in that case, sometimes we'll build tents, we'll erect tents. So we'll make a site that's habitable.
All right. Well, thank you, sir, for sharing your story and why you joined the Guard. We definitely appreciate it. If any of you guys have any comments or questions, please feel free to put it in the chat box. We definitely here to take any questions or, you know, any concerns that you guys may have.
I got one for you, Sergeant Gary.
Okay.
How does the military support your civilian life, whether it be childcare, civilian career progression, etc.? Feel free to chip in anybody that wants to respond if they have a specific example as well.
Okay, well, the thing with me and stuff, you know, I've been pretty much just, you know, active, but just knowing that the people that's in a unit that only come in 1 weekend out of the month, 2 weeks in the summertime, you know, anytime that these guys get on activated orders and stuff, your job, your employer, they have to, you know, let you get off with, you know, whatever orders and stuff that you may have to, you know, end up going to. They have to hold your job there. So it's not a situation where you get deployed and you lose your job and you can't go back to it. Like they have, you know, laws in effect to actually protect, you know, soldiers or airmen and stuff that actually get activated to go to these, you know, different situations that we may have. Far as supporting your civilian career field, I would say that if you're interested in getting different certifications, especially if you want to progress forward, you know, take advantage of what the Guard has to offer because they do pay for that. They do pay for your education. They do pay for your certification. So if it's something that you want to do in your civilian life, you know, the Guard can take care of it. Did I answer anything? The question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I think Airman Yates hasn't introduced herself yet.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I didn't even go down. Sorry. Okay. The next person we'd like to discuss is Senior Airman Yates. She is Munition Systems, and she's going to share her story on why she joined the Virginia Air National Guard.
Hi, everyone. As Tech Sergeant Gary said, I'm Senior Airman Yates. I'm with Munitions. Ironically, we do work a lot, like with Tech Sergeant Cobb's, weapons. We're ammo. That's kind of our brother job. We're hand in hand with them all the time out on the flight line. And we do have some camaraderie with them as well. They load everything, but we build all the weapons that actually get loaded onto the planes by them. So if you're a hands-on person, I think it's a very, very great job. I'm a hands-on learner. You'll see me talk with my hands a lot. It's that annoying. But so I have my hands in a lot of different things, and so does ammo. And it's fun because we do have our own spot on base where we're handling munitions, taking accountability of them, making sure that they're stored properly. We're also building them, loading them up to get them ready for armament to load them onto the planes. We have a great time. If I know we spoke about females being in kind of harder jobs where it's a lot of men. There are a lot of guys, but if you just are kind of that person that can roll with the punches and just have a good time and talk crap with each other and get it done, like it's a fun, super fun job. And all the females I know that are in the unit, they actually outshine and do a very good job and have won a lot of awards. So basically, if you had an interest in building bombs or working with missiles, chaff flare, small and large caliber, that's us. We do it. So kind of without everything that we end up building or maintaining, we wouldn't have an Air Force. That's where we're at. For me personally, I joined the Guard a little bit later than everyone else. I joined when I was 21, 22 back in 2018. I was kind of just trying to get my footing and figure out what I really wanted to do as a career in life and figure it out. Because like I said, I'm very active and like to keep my hands, moving, but also wanted to go back to school. So the Guard has actually allowed me to work full time and kind of manage my own schedule. I actually train dogs for a living, so I can move my Guard schedule and deployments and trainings around my civilian side. And I'm also a full-time engineering student, so it's been very forgiving being able to take care of my school life as well, but also have that school paid for, so I have no debt whatsoever on my end. So it's been great. I think being able to set your own schedule, so to speak, is the greatest blessing that the Guard kind of offers, because it doesn't actually have to be 2 weeks in the summer all the time. A lot of units, we actually kind of have different staggered dates depending on what exercises we have going on. Ammo, I know specifically, has a lot of TDYs that we offer, which are our short deployments. And we usually have at least 6 to 8 a year that we get to go on. And I've been on a few and they've been really great, especially because we talk about the Guard kind of being small. Once you go on one TDY or deployment, you kind of know everyone or get your foot in the door with everyone. So it's nice to kind of have that close-knit community too.
And Airman Yates, I know you talked a little bit about how y'all have your own area on the base. It's explaining why you're in your car.
Yeah, sorry. So
No, don't be sorry. It's part of the job, right?
Right.
Can't.
So because we have munitions that make big booms, they could wipe out a lot. They're not anything to be taken lightly. We are on our own kind of, I call it the swamp. Everybody calls it the island. If we explain directions to somebody, we're like, go to the edge of base, find the bridge, go way across the bridge, and then you'll find ammo. So we're on our own little section, which is why I'm in my car, because thank God I have a vehicle that has, Wi-Fi if I need the signal, because we just don't have signal in our buildings.
I think that's part of your job, and it's definitely so fitting that you had to get in your car and get away from there.
It is. I have AC though, so that's fine. I'm not out in the heat. It could be worse.
Airman Yates, I have a question to ask, and just as
Yes,
me asking
ma'am.
just as a recruiter, do you wish that your recruiter would have told you anything different about the job? Like, what do you think your recruiter could have said to you?
So what I think is great, another thing I think is great about the Air Guard specifically is that we do a student flight. So you do get to go out to your unit and meet everybody and kind of, put your toes in to see kind of what's going on. I think the recruiter, as far as the description that we're given, is pretty spot on. It doesn't get into like every specific little detail, or we would have like 8 pages of just little stuff that you end up doing. I don't think I realized just how hands-on it would be, like constantly out doing stuff. Just you do have some long days, and that just kind of comes with the territory. But it was pretty straightforward. I'm just a straight shooter, I guess, so I just kind of get in and ask the direct questions. So if it's something, I think recruiters could make it a little more available to maybe reach out to people in units. So those that are coming in could talk with someone directly to kind of get back to the basics and get the straight points of what the jobs are.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I definitely would do that.
That's a good point, because reach out to the people in the unit so that they can get a good idea of what the jobs are. Well, here we are with people in the unit. Anyone, go ahead and unmute yourself. What's an average day like for you? Like it's a Saturday and it's time to go to drill.
I can answer this question.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So right now I'm on active duty orders, so it's a little bit different. A drill is a lot going on in one day, one weekend. It is exhausting, but it's good. It's on a typical day, we'll come in and we attend commander's call, and he'll give us an update on the status of the unit, provide us with any required training that we need to complete. Sometimes we have announcements like birthdays, recent babies who have been born, and then we go off and go into our flights, and we again catch up on any required training, any required items that we need to complete, such as dental, medical, PT tests, any upgrade training, any very important like just training, maintaining training. And depending, like in my building, we have different AFSCs together, but personally those of us that are imagery analysts will go and support active duty for the day, see what they need, and help them with any taskings that they have for the day. And once we do that, take care of our own duties, such as again, ancillary training, attend any promotion ceremonies, meet with our supervisors, make sure that we're up to date with our career path, and that we're doing everything we need to do. Definitely complete those bullets, make sure that you're getting those in, because I know that once drill is over, you might forget what you've completed. But maintain those bullets, maintain that career readiness. Ultimately, what's most important is readiness, being ready to go at any time. And then sometimes we'll have PT or some kind of morale event. We'll get together, but I find it exciting to see everybody. It's kind of like a family reunion once a month. Like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, so it's really, really nice to catch up with everybody. So I hope that I hope I covered.
That's a lot. And you talk about bullets, getting those bullets and writing down those bullets. So if you don't know, there's something in the military or in the Air Force. Let's not talk about the whole military because I don't know. But in the military, in the Air Force, we have what we call our evaluations. We do them on, every 2-year basis. And it's basically over 2 years, what have you done to support this unit, this mission? And it's basically a whole list of things that say, look what I did, look what I did. But after 2 years, you lose track of those things. We call them bullets, bullet points, basically. But it's just to track what you did and just to say that I'm here and I've been doing something. Anybody else want to share what their day looks like during a drill?
I think I have to share my day a little bit because it's a lot different from everybody who's in the center of the base. We don't go to much of anything because we're, out in our area. So for ammo, first thing in the morning, depending on what part of the shop that you're in, we have control who is responsible for just monitoring everything that's going on in the bomb dump. We also send out a team to go ahead and do a line walk on the flight line with everyone else, check everything out, make sure it's good to go. If we have anything that needs to go to the line as far as munitions to get delivered, that usually goes out. We had that this week and it was a little last minute. We had to get some more mods out on Saturday. And then we kind of get into our daily grind, you know, what training we're doing, that's hands-on or virtual, building some things, getting inventory accounted for, taken care of. And then we make it back out to the flight line to go ahead and retrieve anything after all the flights are done for the day, working with weapons again to get that taken care of, getting it back, taking care of it yet again, breaking things down, building things back up, restuffing them, and doing some more inventory management. And then after Saturdays, we usually everybody gets to get together for a little bit and get some food and, you know, decompress. And then Sunday it starts all over again and we get to knock out the weekend and finish it up pretty strong.
I'll leave it to you, Sergeant Gary.
I'm definitely glad that Emory Yates definitely provided yours because it's a little different than everyone else's. Like my day as a recruiter is still, I'm still out doing things as far as recruiting. So my weekend of drill, you know, doesn't change, you know, so it's just pretty much a continuation. We definitely trying more to get out to the units more to talk to talk to you guys and see what's going on and stuff, but that's pretty much what I do every day. I have another question for especially Airman Yates that's in the munition systems. I speak to a lot of females every day, you know, about those jobs and stuff, but a lot of them get very intimidated because, you know, once you say munitions, you know, everyone's just like, oh my gosh, you know, what do you feel to make a young female feel at ease on far as getting into this career on what, you know, far as can be said? Because when you think of ammo, munitions, that can immediately make someone very afraid.
So I guess because I grew up in like a rural area, so I'm used to like I grew up around horses and dogs and stuff, so I'm used to like yelling at a 1,200-pound animal. So I kind of dive into things head first, and I feel like it would help so many females if they just stopped worrying so much about what other people think about it. And it's kind of the highlight of my day when people ask me like, what's your job in the military? And I'm like, yeah, I build bombs. They're like, what? And it's literally the best reaction that you can hope for because they're so shocked that, you know, I'm like 5'5" and 130 pounds and I'm slinging around munitions with the guys all day. So it's fun to me. And I think it would be great. You know, like I said, if we could get more females to even just reach out and connect us with recruiters so we could kind of sit down and talk about it and, you know, maybe help them with some apprehensions that they have. But, you know, just dive into it head first. Don't worry about it. If you think that it sounded like a cool job that was fun and you wanted to get more hands-on and you wanted to learn about pneumatic tools or building things and learning, you know, how to measure certain stuff and calibrate it, go for it. You just don't be concerned with what I guess the society norm is, you know, the best thing to say it. I think we've made such great strides as females moving into more men's fields. And it's kind of been great to see that we're really succeeding at it. I know for me personally, we've had the females in my unit have done so well and taken so many amazing awards this year, all the way up to the group and national level. So if anything, I think that more females should do it just because I think you all can do and are capable of so much more. It's a great opportunity. Why not? Worst case scenario, like we were talking about earlier, you can always retrain if it's just not for you. There's no harm, no foul.
I know I am retrained. I was a medic for a long time, and that medical life in the hospital, it takes a special type of person to care for other people when they're at their worst. I did it for a long time, but then I went to school and discovered what I wanted to do and retrained, like you said. But I have another question though. Who actually got to choose their job? Raise your hand. If you got to choose what job. Really? Like all of you? Sergeant Winbro, can you tell me why you chose structures? Like out of everything on that list, you went to structures. Why was that?
Like I said, well, previously I joined the Navy, and it was in the construction field, and I wanted to be a builder. But then I realized the Air Force has a better life than the job that I was in. So I tried to come over to the Air Force, and since I wanted to be a builder, the closest thing was a structural specialist or structures. And we actually go to joint service school where it's the Army and the Navy. But the other purpose of picking this job was I wanted something different than what I do on the civilian side. On the civilian side, I'm a retail manager. I'm inside all the time. So I wanted something different. I wanted to go away. If I get sent somewhere, I'm not focusing or stressing about something similar to what I do every day at home. But also for structures, it gave me the most credits for college if I wanted another degree to pursue a bachelor's, because I was at that time studying civil engineering. But then I switched. But this one had the most college credits, but also anything that you wanted to do at home and did not want to hire a contractor. If you watch HGTV all the time, if your spouse or friends or anybody, you wanted to build something, then something in structures, you learn literally the basics from what a hammer is to something where I'm going up in machines, 40, 50, 100 feet in the air to weld something upside down, anything that you would need. But I wanted something that I can go away and focus on that's way different than what I do on the civilian side.
That makes sense. It's almost like an escape for you, coming to drill or
And
doing
and
in the
exactly.
guard.
So
Yeah.
DFTs, deployments, whenever we go somewhere, I'm not saying it's a free vacation because we're still working, but you're sent places
You're
that
getting
you might
paid
not be
for
able
it.
to go, and you're getting paid for it, and you're working, and you're meeting other people. And as some of the other people have said, the guard and just in our career field for CE, it's very small. So you will come across people multiple times. You will see them again, depending on your job. And most of the people's jobs here, it's very small communities as well for their particular careers. And either way, we will see each other again, but the DFTs are the best.
Yeah. What about you, Sergeant Miller? You're a crew chief.
What the average day is like?
Wondering why you chose that job out of all the jobs you could choose on that list.
Well, it came about, I actually didn't even know that the Air Guard existed until a buddy of mine who retired out of the Air Force told me maybe you should check out the Air Guard when I was talking about maybe going back into the military. And I was like, I know the Army has a guard, but I didn't know the Air Guard existed. He said, yeah, and there's one down at Hampton or whatever, and you could work on jets instead if you want to continue doing maintenance. I was like, yes, please, let's do that. And so I went and met with the recruiter, and he was like, oh yeah, we could use you. Come on down, let's sign you right up. And that's basically how it happened. There wasn't any questions. There wasn't any like, they were like, here you go. We'll get you sent off. I was prior service, so there was a little bit of a wait, which I don't know if that's something that's been remedied or not, but it seemed to me like the folks coming in straight that were going to boot camp went straight to tech school, which are the two schools that they split up your training as. Since I didn't have to do the boot camp, I had already done it. I kind of had to wait till there was a spot open, but one eventually opened up, and I went and I got to learn my job.
What are some questions that people have, Sergeant Gary, typically about like tech school and boot camp, things like that?
The first thing they have is like how long I'm going to be going to, basic, how long I'm we going to tech school. But to me, for the thing that I explain to people is it really depends on what career field that you get into, because some of the career fields you can be gone for 4 weeks, some you can be gone up to a year. So it just really depends on what job that you get into. So that, be their question on how long I'm gonna be gone. Would I miss a lot of school? I do tell people that, hey, if you're thinking about joining the Virginia Air National Guard, you're gonna have to take a semester off from school. I mean, that's a given. I just let everyone know that in the beginning because, you have to go to basic and tech school, and oftentimes than not, they like for you to go together. They don't like to split that up. So I always let them know that you will have to, definitely do that. But the most questioned stuff, especially when I talk to a lot of females and stuff, especially about maintenance, it's just, people just get a little apprehensive. But, once, like she said, if I get, someone more from the unit to really talk to them like, hey, this is what we do. It's not that bad, of, what you think that you may be doing. So, but yeah.
Sergeant Arnold, where'd she go? Oh, Sergeant Arnold, did you go through basic and tech school like all together? How long were you gone for, and was that scary for you?
So yes, it was scary because it was the first time I've ever left my family that long. So I left for about 5 months. And so my basic training, I believe, was 8 weeks. And my tech school was roughly 4 months. So, I mean, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, if you're straight out of high school, it might be a little intimidating just because, you're not really that far away from your parents, but you get kind of used to it. It's not that bad.
Sergeant Escobar, you've been quiet. What about you? Did I surprise you?
Yeah, you did.
What about you? Oh, do you remember, when did you come in, and do you remember like going to tech school and basic training? Did you do that all together? And what were the feelings that you remembered having before you went?
Yes. So I was actually a little bit older than the rest of the basic trainees and tech school folks. So I had a different perspective than the rest of the trainees, I guess. So I was a little bit older when I came in. I had kind of already had a lot of these experiences. So for me, it was a lot easier. I understood, once you get past basic training, the military is a little bit different than that initial jump, right? Or that initial push. But tech school, believe it or not, I actually really enjoyed tech school. It was really, really fun. It was in Pensacola, Florida. So we got to see the beach. I think it was 3 or 4 months. Don't quote me exactly, maybe 4 months. But in Pensacola, wasn't too bad. So when I went in, I was a little bit older, had different experiences than a lot of the younger folks. So I was able to use those experiences to help some of the younger kids in basic and tech school.
Sergeant Gary, did you have any other questions?
No, I would like to personally thank each and every one of you guys for actually coming out today and giving you your experiences and things of being part of the Virginia Air National Guard. I know that I'm excited to be here. I like being in the unit. Like I told everyone, I came from active duty Air Force, so it was a lot of changes. But I feel like now I feel like I've been in the Guard for 10 years now, and it's only been 2. So, I mean, it's been great for me. Like you said, it all depends on your perspective on everything. If you come into the unit with a great perspective, you will have a good time here. It's definitely what you make of it. So that's all I like to add.
Here's one. When someone's new to your unit, when there's a new person who comes in, what's like a piece of advice you make sure to give them?
For me or for one of the other?
Anybody.
Oh.
Someone who's new to your job or new to your area, what's something that you want to make sure you tell them?
Have a good perspective. Definitely don't come here with, being negative and different things, because if you come here with already a negative perspective about the job or the unit or whatever the situation, you're definitely not going to like it, because you already tainted your mind to put that it's going to be negative. So just come with a good perspective here and a positive mindset. That's what I would tell everyone, because yeah, it's your mindset that would definitely make the life easier for you, or it can make it a lot worse for you.
With anything, not even just the military, right?
Yeah.
Who else?
I was gonna say for me, if someone came here, just like Airman Yates was saying, so she's on her little island over there. Everybody else probably on the screen besides Sergeant Arnold, we're in Virginia Beach from the 203rd Red Horse. So for us, we're not near anything that's happening at the main base. We have to do everything here. And at times, some people be like, "Well, I thought I was going to be in Hampton." No, you're here in Virginia Beach, and we have to travel to Hampton for other needs, or y'all will come to us, the recruiters or PA, the chaps, anybody like that. But the good thing is here at Virginia Beach, we're right on the beach. So we also give them perspective about like what she was saying with the unit, but we just let them know how our compound is. It's similar to wherever we deploy or go other places where we're our own individual group. We wear red hats. We're different from everyone else. For the most part, you'll see red hats. For us, security forces have the berets and some other groups. But just as Airman Yates was stating, she's on her little island. We are definitely a lot farther across a bridge, close to the ocean, not near the 192nd at all in Hampton.
What about you, Sergeant Hernandez? Do you have anything that you make sure you tell people when they come into the unit? Or is there a piece of advice that they give out?
When people are new to my unit, I do my best to help them out, but I forget what they don't know. So I encourage people to ask questions. So for example, earlier I mentioned bullets. I forget that that's military jargon. Ask all the questions you can, especially when you're new. And even if you're not new, continue to ask questions. One thing I learned when I was younger is you're going to keep learning, keep exploring, keep learning in your career, but also explore other options that are out there. And I would encourage people to, I don't know how to hone in on your resiliency. Be flexible. That's important too. Sometimes you need something at the last minute and you gotta be ready to deliver. Flexibility is key, and resiliency is important too, especially in our career field.
Sergeant Cobbs, you got something to add to that? Things that you tell new airmen that come to your unit, or people who are new to your job?
Well, the most important thing is to make sure that they're adopting a characteristic of putting forth as much effort as possible from the very beginning. And what really helps with that is really instilling in their mind the concept that we're all in the Guard a family, and every mission that we strive to achieve is something we as a family are striving to achieve. So if you're not putting forth your maximum effort, then you're putting more work strain on someone else in your family, So it's important that everyone knows that they're valued and everything, so that we can all work together and we all put forth great effort, then we achieve great things. But we have weak links. You're only as strong as your weakest link, So, and then also to make sure that they're always not letting themselves get in the way of their own progress. So you always want to lean forward on the next step. Don't always wait for someone to push you. Be that person who's like reaching out, trying to do better. I know when I started in the beginning, I didn't know a ratchet from a screwdriver, but I always put forth my best effort, and it was seen. And because of that, I progressed to where I am. And yeah, as long as you're putting forth your best effort and you care about the people around you, you're going to do great.
That was good. Thanks. All right, so I think we're gonna get to wrapping this up. This video though is going to be on the Virginia Air National Guard recruiting page on Facebook. Just in case you missed the live, you can always go back and rewatch this and put your questions in the comments still, even if you're not watching it live, because we monitor that page and can reply. The recruiters like Sergeant Gary will get back to you on that. So if you're on Facebook, well, you're watching the live video, but it's Vang Recruiting, and that's where this will be posted. Sergeant Gary, what else you got for us?
Again, if you're interested in joining, we do have a Facebook page, or you're interested in learning more information, please like and share our page, each and every one of you guys. Thank you. If you can go on our page and like and share it, we would appreciate that.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Have a good one.